And welcome again to Indian Rider Radio After Hours. What a pleasure having you guys drop by. I'm Curtis Sawyer in the Tab Performance Studios, and we are ready for another Friday night. Now, in the old days, when I was doing radio, they would call a Friday night like this Open Phones Friday. The object was to get you involved, and we want to do that again today. So if you've got questions, maybe something you want to drop, you want to talk about the ambassador program, you want to talk about the new release coming up, well, we're here to do that. So we've got a bunch of you dropping in already. You're welcome to drop in on the comments. We've got several of our guests lined up. And if you have all the right stuff and you're all set up, if you're lucky, maybe Fish will send you a link and you can drop in and join us. Speaking of Fish, please welcome my co-host, Ridingfish. Good to see you again, my friend.
Another applause.
Yeah, it was small, though. I mean, it's really small.
Listen, we can't go bigger than that. Not today. Not after this week.
Did you get your heart broke a little bit this week?
Dude, I've never been so salty. I think that was the word I used. Pretty much how I felt.
Yeah, of course. You were a little rough around the edges. Salty is a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I really wanted the recognition, just because I love Indian motorcycles so much.
Yeah.
Really that's all it came down to. But hey, there's always the future. There's always next time. And I've been pretty lucky to work with amazing dealers. I told you this the other day when I was trying to talk myself off the edge. I've been so lucky to work with, I don't want to name them, but some amazing dealers and you and amazing people in Indian motorcycle world. So I already feel like an ambassador with great friends and I got big things planned anyway for this year, ambassador or not. And really it comes down to this. I want to be an ambassador to motorcycles and bringing people to the sport that I love and the lifestyle.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll talk more about it through the course of the night, I'm sure. And a lot of people have some varying opinions about the entire ambassador program and what its aim is. And I've had the chance now to talk to some people with Indian, and a good friend of mine who, like you, did a little talking off the ledge and whatnot. But he's helped me understand what it is Indian's trying to do. And when we talked yesterday or on the podcast with Brian Remington, Brian's another one like us. Maybe this wasn't our opportunity, but I am certain there will be stuff like that going forward. So I'm not too worried. So as we mentioned, Fish, tonight is open phones, basically, or open lines. A variety of guys have already been invited. So you already have links, so they may be dropping in at any time. And, in the comments, if you got the right setup, if you got your camera and microphone good to go, we can probably hook you up as well. So we're happy to have you tonight. So,
well, we might run into some technical difficulties.
How?
We might. You never know. People like, yeah, my audio's good, and then it's not. My picture's good, then it's not. How's my color looking? Actually,
well, you look like hey, wow. Look at
See,
that.
So I'm going to Florida.
Sure.
That's how I want to look when I come back.
Yeah, you want to get all right. Ah, nice. Let's go to Florida.
Okay, I think
just because you're going to Daytona doesn't mean you got to rub our noses.
Oh,
I got myself pretty well dialed in, but we'll find out about that, don't you?
You know what I'm going to do while I'm there? It's official. I'm going to go to my first flat track race.
Are you?
Yes.
You got your tickets and everything. You're going to go to an American flat track race.
Yeah, me, Val, and Autumn. We're going to go. And I'm so excited for it.
That will be a lot of fun. That'll be cool. That will be a lot of fun. American flat track, they call it the original American extreme sport.
Okay.
I got to say, when you see those cats coming out of the corner, setting the bike up, and on some of the bigger tracks, clocking well over 100.5 coming down the main straight, there is really nothing else like it. And when you see them as close as they are to one another and what they're really doing on that track that you don't really get to see on TV because of the way the coverage is,
yeah,
it will blow your mind. It will.
I'm excited. I really want to do it. It's probably going to give me all kinds of bad ideas, but that's all right. I'm so influenceable.
Well, speaking of bad ideas, we're going to talk to some people tonight too about what they might think about this new motorcycle dropping on Tuesday.
That's not a bad idea.
No. The bike's not a bad idea, but somebody might have a bad idea about the bike. And we're that. No, I think this is going to be a really cool thing. I think it's time that whether it's an American manufacturer or somebody else has got to fill some of the gaps in the marketplace that people are drawn to.
Yeah. I'm in love with the fact that they keep innovating.
Yeah.
they keep coming out of the box. It doesn't have to be a cruiser line. They came up with the FTR. It doesn't have to be air cooled because that's what people are used to. So let's come out with liquid cooled and performance. And it would only make sense to put this Power Plus liquid cooled motor in a different platform. Well, which, by the way, is going to be crazy if it's half the weight.
Well, and I'll throw that out there. I think there's a noticeable gap, and I mentioned it in the podcast. If you're coming into, hi, Andrea, how are you? If you come into the Indian lineup, okay, and you walk up and you buy a Scout, and there's lots of Scouts out there. It was an incredibly popular, machine, right? But now you've ridden that bike for a little while. You want to get onto something larger. There was a huge gap into a bike that wasn't like what you just came off of.
A lot of people were going Scout and Challenger. That is kind of a big jump.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge jump. All right, you got lots of comments already rolling.
Yeah, we got all kinds. I want to thank everybody already for joining in, and anybody that kind of wants to join us today, hit me up. And I got this in my hand, and I got some access. Things are gonna be a little different. I'd love to send somebody a link, and maybe we just get some more people in on this show today.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're going to talk about just about anything you want to talk about. Again, open phones Friday is how it works. Got a couple of major points we want to talk about. Maybe the ambassador program, what that means going forward, the new motorcycle release on Tuesday, and if you want to, we can backtrack to FTR, Challenger, or anything else India motorcycle related. You want to bring it up? We'll talk about it. We're going to take a break, come back, and the first guy up will be none other than Larry Marshall from the VTwin blog. So don't go.
VTwin blog.
What do you think of that, huh? Don't go away. We'll be right.
I'm in Bison Thunder here in St. Paul. They want to sell you a bike and help you build the bike. Yeah. Why wait till all the parts are on back order?
We have special things going on that we put in our dealership in Minnesota. We're signing people out and they're not even paying for their bike for up to 4 months.
Buy them now.
Yep. No Worries Promise, which is lifetime powertrain. First 2 years maintenance and wear items are covered on all new bikes, the heavyweight.
Bison Thunder here in St. Paul. Also have one in Rogers. All right. So that's where they are. Come to Bison Thunder, St. Paul. Home of the No Worries Promise.
Yes, sir. Peace.
The No Worries Promise. I love the No Worries Promise. I absolutely dig the No Worries Promise. Bison Thunder Motorcycle, just one of the guys helping us out here with Indian Rider Radio After Hours Live. I'm Curtis Sawyer from the Tap Performance Studios for Indian Rider Radio. And you know my partner, co-host, and all-around good guy, Ridingfish.
I also love that No Worries Promise when I got my break-in miles in like one whole day, and I had to come back and they paid for my break-in oil change.
They were still talking about you leaving the store, and you were already back doing stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much how I roll. I'm like, oh, I'm taking the bike today. I'll see you Monday for my break-in oil change.
Outstanding.
No budget needed.
A lot of guys dropping in on our. A lot of people dropping in on the comments section, so you follow that. I'm going to go over here. Well, hello to Curtis and Ridingfish, along with everyone else that is doing at this time. Well, hi, Sean. How are you? Let's bring in the one, the only, the man among men, Larry Marshall. Good to see you, friend. Yeah, there it is.
Woo! How you guys doing?
Much better now, thank you. Larry, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Well, this week you brought up an interesting topic on the podcast about those things that when they go wrong is when we seem to learn. And I appreciate you doing that.
Oh, those were all real stories too.
I know. That's the best part is that people listen to that. And I've had a couple of guys go, Larry doesn't hide anything, does he? He just bears it. He puts it right out there, doesn't he? So let's check in on a couple of things here. first, great to have you on the show. The response has been huge. It's really been fantastic for all of that stuff that you guys shared, because I wanted to have somebody else's different take on a lot of things. You know, everybody knows my opinion on 99% about what we talk about, but let's hear what Larry has to say, and it's turned out to be really cool. Speaking of which, what are you thinking in this new motorcycle? What are you going with this?
So I actually have two guesses, and the more you guess, the more you have a chance to be right. So my first guess, just my gut tells me, my heart tells me that it could be an electric FTR. And after you guys had the conversation last week, Star Bobber, and talking about the FTR, I was like, man, there's been rumors out there for a while. And I've actually had conversations with engineers out in Sturgis talking about the FTR and talking about the Impulse, the Victory electric bike.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then making a comment that, that FTR seems like the perfect platform for electric bike. And they just kind of gave me this wink and a nod and turned around and ran away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, okay. That's something that might be coming. So I'm wondering if it's going to be that. And then here's my more mindful, educated guess.
Okay.
Is I noticed that there is no 116 Chief.
All right.
It's something that you kind of don't even think about. You kind of skip over because you think everything else has the 116 or the 108 in it, but the Chief and the Springfield don't have their 111 still.
Do you think it would be that simple that they would just bump it up and maybe do a little something to it?
Well, throwing that 116 in there
you do understand Polaris code, obviously. Smile and walk away. You understand that's Polaris code for we don't know what we just told you, but you chew on that a bit. And I don't know. Let's see. Let's bring somebody in and we'll talk, and we'll get more than one opinion here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from Hog Tank Collars, the one, the only, Mark Tallarico. Mark, how are you?
Hey, good to see you. Good.
All right. So Larry's thinking something simple, maybe 116 and a Chief, just to kind of push the brand forward a little bit. Well, easy.
Yeah, I think he's got a good idea, Larry, on the 116. I like that one. I never thought of that myself.
Did you guys notice?
Can't be that simple.
Did you guys notice that under the Indian motorcycle list of motorcycles, there's not even a Chief?
No, it's gone. Yeah,
it's gone. They changed it to the vintage. Basically, I think it's going to be completely different. It can't be just a 116, or they would have left it up there. I think they're going 108.
So you think the 108, as far as water cooled, that platform?
Yep. That's what I think. They said they're that little teaser video that they have. I don't know. Do you have that? Anyway, they have a little.
Watch yourself. I'll look and see if I have it.
Okay. Yeah, they have a little teaser video, and it says like reinventing the heritage, something like that. Well, it doesn't get more reinventing than putting a brand new top of the line motor in. And they keep running this 100-year Chief, all these little like promo ads, you want to call it. People talk about the lines, this and that. I think it's their heritage reinvented, Brian says. So yeah, that's what I think, man.
Well, when you talk about heritage reinvented, though, these guys, there's a language that Polaris is using and Indian is using to convey how they want these motorcycles seen going forward. Okay. Heritage reinvented is one of them, because they need to rebrand Indian and some of the names of the models for the future. They can't hang back with 3 out of the 4 of us here are what they would call a heritage customer. Okay. We're older guys, and
what am I again?
You're a rogue customer.
That's goddamn right.
You just wanted me to say it out loud. Seriously. Do you guys realize that this man is on my phone and in my studio more often than I care to admit? And he does this to me constantly. But, all right, rogue up in the corner there. You understand what they're trying to do here is they want to take the imaging and branding of this motorcycle and maybe move it away from some of us older guys. Okay. They own us. They know that we're brand loyalists. We bought the bike. We love the bike and we love it for different reasons than these younger buyers. Okay. And if I'm wrong, and if you guys think I'm wrong, chime in right away. Don't wait for your turn or raise your hand. Just jump right in on me. But I really, truly believe that with the success they've had with the FDR and with the Scout, and again, the FDR I got to put in quotes for the time being. Okay, success, but it's still being tested. But buyers that came in and were digging on the Scout, now making that move to something air-cooled and different wasn't the answer. It just wasn't. They want something similar to what they've already now fallen in love with.
So here's the thing. You have the Scout with 100 horsepower. It's already a smaller frame. If you don't give them something boost, they're going to feel like they downgraded on that little frame. So you throw in that 108 with a 120 basically on something that's a couple 100 pounds less than the Challenger. It's going to be a fun bike.
Right. So, Mark, what did you ride before the Roadmaster you have now?
I came up into Harleys. I started out big bike, Road King Classic.
Oh,
okay.
Stayed with that.
First bike, Road King Classic? First bike?
First bike. I had ridden a Honda 750 back during college and had gotten rid of it when I got a real job. And from there, I stayed out of bikes for about 10 or 15 years before I came back in. I went and got my rider certificate and everything.
Right.
Went through a little class, and first trip I took, me and the wife rented a Road King Classic, and we rode over to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
I'm going to ask it right now. How do you carry those around? How do you carry those around? Just say it. I don't know.
But yeah, came up. Basically, I skipped the smaller bike. Didn't like them. I grew up on dirt bikes and everything coming up, and skipped the small, mid-sized Dyna and went straight to the big ones.
And so your experience then coming to the Indian was just the natural progression of I want a bike that performs better. I like it more classic, whatever it was, right? Larry, but what about you? You too were up on Harleys at one time, yes?
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
No, I actually started out on Yamahas, sport bikes, and then went from Yamahas to a Suzuki Boulevard when I grew up a little bit and wanted to ride a little slower, and Victory, and then Indian.
Yeah. Did you do the C90 or did you go right up to the 109?
It was actually the C50.
Oh, wow.
Because the pocketbook did not afford the C90.
Yeah, but you're a bigger man than a C50 would carry around comfortably.
I was a little lighter then, man.
Where are you now?
Oh yeah, a little lighter. But I did ride that thing 2-up. It's funny. I rode the C50 2-up out to Sturgis from Minneapolis with the girl I was dating at the time. I would never do that again with her because she was anyway. Just talking in your ear the whole time or falling asleep on your back.
We take to Sturgis. Those are the ones we actually take to Sturgis.
Oh man, I kind of tried to forget that she was with me when I was there, and she somehow made it home. So whatever. Anyway,
needed somebody to carry that backpack.
Yeah, that's what? It's funny because yes, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you're going to ride on the back of my motorcycle and wear my backpack.
Yep.
You're gonna love it. It's going to be the greatest time ever.
Sign me up for more. All right. Well, okay. Who doesn't think that this new bike though is going to be aimed at what has been a very visible gap in what's going on with Indian motorcycle? If in the early days when I was on the dealership floors, and you might have heard it too, Larry, around the blog and that kind of thing, is the first thing Harley Davidson enthusiasts said was, they got nothing like the Dyna. Well, now, not long after that, the Dyna went bye-bye. But the point is that they were right. There really wasn't a bike in the lineup that satisfied that middle ground, full-size motor and all the tranny and all the good stuff in a lighter, more nimble, more, a versatile type frame. Because you guys heard it. Now, I had Ben Lindemann and I had Dan Peterson on the show. Both of them talked about accessorizing. This really is part of their whole plan. This is part of their marketing and development of every bike they make, is accessorizing. Now, Larry, what have you done to your Chieftain? What have you done anything major to it?
Yeah, actually I have.
Good. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't have the stock stereo. I think Ridingfish actually heard my stereo in the dealership. It's not the stock stereo. I went to the what's it called, the power band audio.
Yeah.
And I went ridiculous with it. I mean, I can't say how much I spent on it because my wife will watch this at some point.
Right.
But it was a lot.
Okay.
And so I've got the exhaust. I'm looking at an air cleaner, and possibly based on a challenge video I did a little while ago with one of your guests, Traveling Tall.
Yeah.
There might be some engine work coming. I don't know because
my.
Yeah, they try to call us out, man, on a Harley versus India video. So
Hey, I told you I'm in on that, Larry.
oh yeah, let's do it.
I told you I'm in on that. I told Tall I'm in on that. I told Curtis I'm in on that.
Okay, good.
I think I told everybody's mom I'm in on that. I don't care. I'm in. Road style.
But yeah, and also I'll just say this real quick. The last upgrade I did, which I thought was pretty cool, the wife last year for Father's Day, her and the daughter got me the lit headrest emblem on the front fender, which the Chieftains now don't come with that.
Yeah.
So they put that on special for me. They surprised me with it, which I thought was really cool.
Well, yeah, I bought the 19 Springfield Dark Horse, and it didn't come with that at all. It came with that the other fender. Well, I went Valance fender, and I put that bad boy on there for that reason.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe I'm. That points to something that I think let's dovetail a little bit into the ambassador thing real quick, and then we'll take a break here in a minute. But
wah wah wah. I'm just kidding. Listen, there's some great people. I want to say two people in the Indian motorcycle world that I'm a part of was accepted, Star Bobber and Not So Ricky Martin. They're both really awesome people, like legit people to talk to. I text them, we message all the time. You guys know how I blow it up. And so I don't think they chose anybody wrong, but it was just hearts were broken. That's Larry. I thought you were in. Me and you were texting about it, I think last week. I think I started with, hey, bro, you know about this, right?
I'm like, I already signed up. I'm good.
Hey, guys, in the queue is a gentleman named Brandon Kroeger. We're going to check in with him in just a little bit. He is the host of Nitro and Mud, and it is all about hill climbing. And that's another place that FDR has gotten cool in. So I'm going to have Brandon come in and join us in a minute. But there was a lot of us that had our feelings hurt with this ambassador program because we are passionate about the brand or about riding or about motorcycling in general. And we would love to, maybe get, tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, thanks, guys. You know what I mean? And they had a nice little thank you package built for these people. Well, we got to remember, and it was a couple of conversations I had yesterday that really edified this for me. Indian wants to move the brand forward. They want to grow the brand. Okay. And Brian Remington from Two Indians made the point. He said, look, if they keep preaching to the choir like me, you, some of us do, we all talk amongst ourselves for the most part. We're not growing the brand. We're patting each other on the shoulder. You know what I mean? I love it. Yeah, you bought an Indian. Good, man. But young people have to be convinced why. Why an Indian motorcycle? Oh, yeah, it appeals to you. You like it well enough. But what's in it for you, so to speak, And beyond that, I think the other thing is that Indian, unlike Harley Davidson, knows the value of having to create a brand loyal customer base over time. Harley relied on being the only game in town, and they did it pretty well for a long time, but it didn't last long enough. Agree, disagree, thoughts? Am I full of it?
Well, I even follow up with this question. What do you guys think of Harley, the Hardwire initiative that they're going with now, where it almost seems like they wanted to reach to the younger audience. That was their goal. And now they're actually going back to selling the Tri-Glide. They're pushing the Tri-Glide. They're pushing the Road King. They're pushing the Road Glide. They're pushing the older demographic bikes. So right. they've almost, it seems like they've given up on the younger audience.
But they almost have to.
They just announced that they're going to have the technology that are in cars now on their bikes, where when you're going down the road and you have like cruise control set, if it recognizes, it has artificial intelligence looking at the rider, that if you're not paying attention, it starts to like beep at you and light and flick, and it will hit the brakes for you and all that good stuff. So if you're getting super old and you can't hold up a bike no more, they got a trike for you that will also stop if you're like a little slow on the reflexes. I'm gonna be there someday.
Guys, when you don't have the product, when you don't have I just saw myself doing that. Jesus. All right. Wow.
Well, do you think they're going back to their roots or going back to a scaled down version since their financials are in bad shape?
I think honestly, yeah, they have one well to take another dip in, and it's that core guy. You know, there are people that will ride Harley Davidson if it was made out of, tin cans and cardboard boxes. They would ride it because it's Harley Davidson. And they have to rely on that guy at least one more time to get through the situation they're in now. Until they can until they can create product and serve the market and rebrand and reimage themselves a little bit, they don't have anything to offer the young rider. So if you can't offer him anything, don't. Go someplace where the money is.
And I think that's where their custom 1250 and their Pan America, that sounds like it's coming at the end of this month. I think that's really what they're going to go for. They need to innovate. They need to. We were just saying how much props we're giving Indian for constantly innovating, constantly coming out with new models that aren't just similar, completely different.
Yeah.
They have to do it, and Tall made some good points. I really do understand the culture. I understand you can buy t-shirts everywhere. I really do understand that. I go to a lot of Harley dealerships out of town too to check out. Well, Big Gabe drags me and I do what Big Gabe says because he's way bigger than me. But you guys can see what kind of mood I'm in tonight.
It'd be like this, isn't it?
But anyway,
it's too late.
Yeah, you guys should have not invited me to this party today. But and they like the engine shake, and Yamahas they run very smooth, and then you look over and the guy's like shaking off, and it's like, oh man, you must have a real big motor. Yeah 107. So
hey guys, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk more of this when we return. Larry, Mark, don't disappear, but when we return, we're going to drop in with Brandon Kroeger, introduce him to you guys. If you haven't met Brandon and you haven't checked out Nitro and Mud, I don't care if you've ever been hill climb racing, you need to meet some of these characters and enjoy this show. It's a lot of fun, and we're going to check it out when we come back. But guys, don't go away. Mark, don't go away. Come back. Fish, we got a lot of ground to cover and more people in the comments than I've seen in a while, and we got a bunch of people sitting in the queue, so we're going to hustle back and do that in just a minute. All right, guys, don't go away. Indian Rider Radio, After Hours Live from the Tab Performance Studios. Thanks to Bison Motorcycle and Thurber Jewelers for helping us out here. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, it's Amanda from Indian Motorcycle Charlotte and Lloyd's Garage here. I want to talk to you about our B4 custom bike series. I think there's been a little bit misunderstanding of what they are. I know you guys have seen our pictures all over social media and our website of these badass custom bikes with that custom paint job with the blue and the red in some of them. They're amazing. But it's not just that full package that you see. It's actually like a menu, and you get to pick your own custom package. You're going to start with that menu and say you're really feeling that Dark Horse Chieftain or Roadmaster and you don't want the custom paint job. You don't have to mark it. You can go right down that line. Say you don't want the Arnott Air Ride and the center stand. It's not really your thing. You don't have to get it. Say you don't want the fat front tire. As badass as it is, it's not everybody's flavor, and we get that. You don't have to get it. Reversely, if you just want the custom paint job and you don't want the performance, which it happens, you can do that, but that is why we do those. And I'm not going to go through the rest of the list because you want Lloyd's exhaust, you want the 126, you want the 1901 floorboards and foot pegs. The rest is a no-brainer. If you guys have more questions, feel free to give me a call, email me. Our number is 704-879 4560.
I feel bad every time we air that commercial because there's a very audible train in the back, and I could not make that thing go away for the life of me. Riding back here, it is Indian Rider Radio After Hours Live. I'm Curtis Sawyer with Indian Rider Radio in the Tap Performance Studios. That, my friends, is Ridingfish.
You know, I was probably Lloyd, like throwing a set of cams in the local locomotive or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get back to our conversation here about a variety of things, the ambassadors program, the new bike, anything else you guys want to talk about. Open Phones Friday, that's how it works. Whatever you want to throw at us. And then, by the way, if you're set up to check us out with your microphone, camera, all that, let Fish know in the comments and we will connect with you. Meanwhile, I want to introduce you to this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of Nitro and Mud, Brandon Kroeger. Hey, Brandon, how the heck are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Curtis? Been a long time, bud.
Yeah, it's been a while. We haven't had a chance to catch up. You've been pumping out product like nobody's business. You're on episode 5, 6 already that you're working on, and there's a lot of ground to cover apparently in the hill climbing world.
Yeah, we're up to season 2, episode 6. So got a lot going. A lot of good guests coming on. The guest this week is the Gasser, Harold Waddell, from Oklahoma.
Yep.
So odd place for a hill climber to be from, but you know.
Well, yeah, no hills in Oklahoma, but I have heard his name. Yeah, obviously, he's got a history. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a history. He's been, I guess he's probably on doing his amateur and pro career about 30 years.
Wow. Does this seem to you, Brandon? This is something. Some of these guys that hill climb can race and stay activated a long time later than a lot of other pro racers do. I think it's kind of, I guess once it gets in your blood, you can't stop, right?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. A lot of these guys, they can ride for longer. The endurance isn't there. Hill climbing, you're not there 40 minutes on a motocross track.
Yeah.
It takes you don't have to be in quite as good a shape to have longevity in the sport.
Good. Well, maybe I've got a chance.
Hey, Brandon, are you coming to Minnesota this year? You come to Minnesota, Wisconsin sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be out there. The AMA Amateur Nationals are going to be there at Valley Springs.
Okay.
You haven't dropped a date yet? Do you know when?
I have it somewhere here. I don't have it with me.
Don't say July. Don't say July. Hit me up. I gotta go support you and check that out, man. I'm dying to do that. So
yeah, that's cool. And that's something else I'd bring up to you guys here. With that's the Amateur Grand Championship. And Nitro and Mud, we are going to have a amateur youth team that I'm trying to raise money and send 5 youth riders from ages 4 to 15 to compete at the Nationals.
Wow. Okay.
How are you raising money? How are you doing?
I'm going to be setting up an auction site as soon as I choose the best host platform for the auction site.
Okay.
And I have a bunch of pro riders that have donated, memorabilia. And we're going to be auctioning that off to the hill climb fans.
Nice.
AMA Pro Hill Climb, you've done a lot in just a short time to push that out into the forefront. And man, I'm telling you, you're right. With hill climb having that kind of an edgier past, if you will, it was kind of that outlaw sport, but now being more family friendly. And AMA has gotten, again, now factory money has come in. Again, John Kester has got some great backing. They did a lot of research on that motorcycle.
Yep.
Where do you see hill climb going? I think it's having that resurgence now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely it is. It's definitely growing. Indian coming in with the FTR, they are full on board with John. When they rolled it out, they did a lot of research on the bike, but John didn't get a lot of time to test and tune before it hit the hill.
Yeah.
So he's been having a lot of trouble getting it to hook up. He says it produces so much torque he can't get it to the ground.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, and that's really what 75% of getting up the hill is keeping the torque on the ground.
Yeah. Now in the class that the FTR that they put the FTR in is a knobby tire only class.
Okay.
So that's some of the other reasons having a hard time hooking up. John's used to chains and paddle tires.
Right. Yeah.
And you run a knobby, you lose so much traction. We're running the knobby on most of the hills we have here on the East Coast.
Yeah. Explain to everybody who is not familiar with it. Professional hill climb, there's a variety of classes, but it pretty much, when you get to what is called unlimited, excuse me. Yeah. Nitro burning, paddle tired, rip the skin off of anything kind of motorcycles. And those are extremely fun to watch, but it's got to be different coming off of that onto something like what John rode last year.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. First we go with hill climbing. Hill climbing is divided pretty much regionally between the pro series. Yeah, the East Coast series, which is AMA Pro Racing out of Daytona, Florida, runs the East Coast series. And then you have Matt Musgrove that runs the Moto Climb series, and he has 4 races, and he hits 1 race in every region. So he usually has California, Oregon. He has one in Walhalla, North Dakota, and Montana, and he's going to have one in the East Coast here, but he doesn't have an event set for that yet. And then you have the Naha Pro Hill Climb Series. And that's a North American Hill Climbers Association, and they're primarily West Coast.
Right on. Primarily West Coast. Now that's California, and now
that's California, Oregon, Idaho.
Okay.
Areas like that they run.
I knew a couple of hill climbers in Idaho. They were, not, I guess, professionals by any manner of means, but they had built true pro wheel, hill climb style bikes and went out and ran them around all the time out in the desert out there. Let me bring in Mark Tellerico. Mark, what do you know about professional hill climb racing?
From being from the South, very little. When I grew up, I can remember some stuff that I was able to follow very vaguely. But as far as I love to watch the old hill climb type videos that I can find. It just, that amazes me that you can push a bike to that limit, and those guys have got some big ahabas. I couldn't do it.
I was asking you how you carried yours around, but Brandon, it's true. Those guys are just a little off kilter right there if they're going to climb up on one of those crazy things.
Yeah, definitely when you get up to what we call now the premier class, which is 451 cc's and up with any fuel, pretty much any power additive, as long as you're not combining power additives.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned that on the show that you can't combine those. You can have one.
Yep. Yeah. You can run nitromethane, which was primarily the major power additive for hill climbers for decades.
Wow.
You're allowed to run nitrous oxide. They just legalized turbochargers. So we have one turbocharged bike out there that premiered at the last round in Oregonia, Ohio.
Okay.
Once he gets everything sorted out on that, that's going to be a very quick bike.
No question. No question.
And then,
hey, Brandon,
yeah.
You mentioned something about Daytona. Did you say they race in Daytona?
No, DMG. Daytona Motorsports Group owns AMA Pro Racing.
Oh, okay.
Where's
the hill in Daytona?
Now, Daytona Motorsports Group is basically NASCAR. It's the group that owns NASCAR.
Okay.
And they own AFT. They own AMA Pro Hill Climbing. They own the rights to all AMA Pro Racing. So even Supercross and Motocross goes through them in a certain degree. They've just sold the rights off to other promotional bodies.
Other promoters. Sure. Okay. I'm going to let Mark step out. I'm going to bring our friend Larry in here. Larry, have you ever seen a pro hill climb race? Have you ever been to one?
So I haven't been to one, but I've seen one live, which sounds kind of weird, but I've seen them in Sturgis as I'm going down I-90 between Lozelle and I can't remember, Vanacker. There's that top rally or whatever they call it. They're doing the hill climbs over there, or at least they used to. That's where I'd see it, and I'd almost always get in an accident because I'm watching these guys go up these hills. I'm like, how do you do that? It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those disciplines, though, Brandon. We talked about it when you were on the show, though. I think the first time. It's one of those disciplines that if you're good at it and you've come up around it and you understand it, guys just love it. It gets under their skin and they become just hooked on it. But if you've never been and you don't know what to expect, it sounds almost a little silly. Oh, we're going to ride a motorcycle up the side of a hill. Oh, okay. Congratulations. That sounds fun.
I just think hill's kind of a weird word because you think hill is like very gradual and then ends up being like a cliff. You're going up a cliff, kind of. I don't know.
Tell him at Pogues, you got a section at Pogues Hole that is not too far away from vertical. I mean, it's pretty rough.
The last 50 feet of Pogues Hole is almost vertical. It's probably about an 86-degree incline.
Oh. Yeah, can you imagine Carlos trying to mount one of those bad boys? Oh my God.
Have you guys ever seen the video of the guy that took a Harley? I mean, it's viral. Everybody's seen it. I would assume you guys seen it. Some guys took his Harley out there and he does like half a hill climb. It is the most incredible thing ever.
At Sturgis?
I don't even know where it was, to be honest.
It was probably, I think it was Sturgis. Yeah, I've seen that. They had the promoter, I guess, gave money to anybody who wanted to try and take their stock street bike up the hill that they built out there at the Buffalo Chip.
Yeah.
Well, why does it not surprise me going on at the Buffalo Chip, right? Why does it not surprise me? Going to be exciting with those guys. So, Brandon, talk to me a little bit about the podcast itself. You guys, the show has been great. You've had a lot of one of the things that you do that I think is really cool is you talk about the history and some of the original riders. What's in store for Nitro and Mud? It looks like you guys are growing really fast.
Yeah, we're trying to really grow it. Another friend of mine from the hill climb industry, Name Brand Media, has come on board with me this year to help co-host and bring in some more guests.
Good.
I started the podcast to try and get some of the history of the sport out. Get the voices of the older guys that were running in, I can only get guys that were running from, 50s and 60s on, because anybody before that is obviously probably not with us anymore.
Right. Or having a hard time communicating. Yeah. No question about that.
Well, even some of the guys I've been getting are having a hard time like that. Like Earl Bowlby, he's 89 years old.
Right.
Lou Grenzer Sr., I had him on. He's 89, going to be 90 next month, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but tell me that those guys wouldn't, if they thought they could do it, I'll bet you either one of them would get on a bike tomorrow.
Oh yeah, they definitely would if they thought they could still do it. Earl and Lou both rode up until they were in their probably 60s when they retired.
Wow, you see what I mean? That's unheard of in professional motorcycle racing. Almost anywhere you get into your mid to late 40s, your early 50s, you're antique if you're doing some of this stuff, including guys like, well, a number of them that run, for example, with the Isle of Man and some of the road racing type guys. They carry on well into their 40s, but 60, come on, that's crazy.
Yeah. Earl was in the 60s. He won his 10th national championship. I think he was 62 years old in 1990.
Wow,
when he won his 10th national title.
That is amazing.
And then he retired that year.
Wow. Good.
Went out on top.
Well, I've never done any real hill climbing. I mean, I've taken a motorcycle up a hill. There was bourbon involved and it wasn't intentional, but I'm just saying it was one of those things. But well, Brandon, I'm not going to keep you a long time, and I'm glad you stopped in. So have you been following what Indian's doing with this new motorcycle that they're bringing out for the street? Have you paying any attention to that?
No, not really. I've seen a little bit on it.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, I don't know if we talked before, I started a new job at a Harley dealership, so kind of a little off topic here. I'm with the competitors here right now, but a lot of my time's been tied up learning about the Pan America and stuff.
Good. And what's your first take?
I'm not sure yet. I have to see it. Like, I'm still in arms about it. There's some really cool features to it. Not really privileged to say till the 22nd when they release it, but there's some cool features. I think it's definitely a good move for Harley.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Are they directly competing with the BMWs? Are they going to be in that same? Okay, cool.
They want to directly compete with the BMWs. They haven't released a price point yet. Even to us, I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah. But
I'm assuming in that range with the KTM BMW range.
But it can do that. This could be a hit.
But after that, right? I mean, that's been sitting there by that market, that segment in particular has been sitting there by itself a while. Those bikes have really been kind of the Those
the
are
only
bench
thing there.
group. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's interesting.
No,
Good.
there-
For them.
Yeah, there's some cool things. I'm kind of an adventure guy, and I like it. I can
Kind of-
say I did go to an Indian dealership to pick up some Harleys that we bought from them, and got to sit on an FTR 1200 for the first time, and I really kind of want one of those.
Yeah. See, yeah. Happens to everybody. Happens to everybody.
The thing better than sitting on it is riding it.
Yeah, I know if there was an Indian dealership closer than 2 hours away from me, I'd go do a test ride, but I
Well,
don't
we
have
can-
any close.
What do you ride normally?
No, I have a Buell Cyclone.
Oh,
Okay. Wow.
okay. See, this is why I knew I liked him. Not just that. To this day, I pick on Harley Davidson here and there, but that Buell Harley combination, I'm sorry to see that ever come apart, because Eric Buell had some great ideas. The bikes had a lot of potential. That particular one, the Cyclone, was a ton of fun to ride. So I'm a little envious.
Well, yeah. While we're on the topic of Buell, Eric Buell actually jumped in with a factory supported hill climb team too this year.
Oh, outstanding.
Whoa.
Yeah, get over to the Buell's Facebook page, and you'll see the 1190 HCR Buell factory hill climbers.
Oh man,
They have two of them with their brand new 2021 engine that'll be running this year, that the Sapala boys from Ellsworth, Wisconsin are running.
Why do you guys all sound like you're referring to other moonshiners when you talk about other hill climbers? Those fellers are out of Wisconsin. Yep.
Yep.
So, Larry, can I see you racing over there to the Buell website and taking a long, hard look at that? Because maybe that could wind up on the VTwin blog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an American VTwin. Yeah,
Heck yeah.
definitely.
It's definitely something. And actually, he ran it last year, and he did win the Premier Class Championship on it last year.
That's outstanding. Wow.
That's really cool.
Oh,
And
I've
he
always been an
almost-
Eric Buell fan, so
And he almost won the Twins Class Championship on his 1125 Buell.
wow.
Yeah,
So-
a lot of people liked Buell's. It wasn't really I don't really know the history of Buell and Harley and all that, but a lot of people that I know, Big Gabe, he talks highly of Buell's. People talk highly of Buell's. I'm not exactly sure the history behind that, but
Well, in essence, it was an experiment to see just how far, modern sport technology could be adapted to a V-twin frame and setup. And, between Eric Buell and what his history had been with motorcycling and, with American V-twins, and then Harley Davidson putting the kind of energy into that program that they needed to and wanted to for a while, it really showed off what that bike was capable of. Unfortunately, it didn't find an audience. That's the funny part about motorcycling. And we were complaining about, Harley Davidson pitching back to its older customer again. But quite often, you got to default to something that's reliable, because there's been a lot of manufacturers that have made a lot of motorcycles that were cutting edge stuff that people looked at and went, nah, no thanks.
well, especially Harley guys, they do seem to do that often.
Sure, yeah, because they have there's a expectation of what they want and to ride and what it should look like and feel like and act like. If it doesn't, they're not there.
Yeah, like the V Rod was an incredible machine that people
Yes, it
just
was.
they
Yeah.
always said it's not a Harley. Well, all right, well, whatever, I guess.
Well,
No, Harley's come out with some amazing.
oh, your audio dropped out, my friend. There's a lag of some kind.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, Brandon. Oh, we were.
Oh man, I knew it. Let's see. What if we do this?
He was going to say something. He was going to say something important that we couldn't get away with. That's what it was. They stopped him. He's been censored.
Harley Davidson is shutting us down.
What is going on here? Are we eavesdropping? That's the problem. Well, Brandon, I'm going to let you go, my friend. I wanted to hang out with you for just a little bit, and
Oh, I
since we're
think I'm back. Here we go.
oh, look, you're
Yeah.
anti-glitch. Okay.
Nope.
Hey, there we go. I figured it
All
out.
right. Well, we are getting
Nope,
pressed
gone
for
again?
time. We wanted to say hi to you and
All
have you
right.
on. So you keep your up out. Brandon, that is Brandon Kroeger, Nitro and Mud. Look for it wherever you find your favorite podcast. If you've never followed AMA Pro Hill Climb or you don't know much about it, check in and just listen to these guys. Okay, it's like that. If you guys ever, Larry, you've probably been in one. You go to an old motorcycle shop someplace, right? 25 guys sitting in there, 10 of which are just there to drink coffee, but that's a lot like some of his guests. They will take you back to those old motorcycle shops and tell you the great stories and tell you what it's like to compete. And they are fascinating guests that he has. Brandon, I'm going to cut you loose, my friend. Thanks for having us on the show tonight and being part of. Let's bring back Mr. Tallarico.
Let's do it. Mark, I got that new FTR. And just watch for my order for all new phone mounts and camera mounts. And Larry, you got to see, I got some pretty studded tires on. Not studded is not the right word. Some pretty dirty tires on there. Dirty. Yeah. Always a good time.
Dirt capable.
What'd you say?
Dirt capable.
Yeah. Well, my goal is to do a little trail riding stuff. Some people say they call them like fire roads. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need some good mounts that isn't going to drop my phone, isn't going to drop a camera. I lost a camera once at 100 miles an hour on the Challenger.
There. Mark just waved it right
Didn't even bother going back for it.
You mean you were going the speed limit and it just happened to fall off?
Oh, I said 100 miles an hour. I meant kilometers, obviously.
There you go. Yeah.
I was on the Autobahn going, I don't know, whatever.
Again, now you know what. See, when I was riding with him in California and in Arizona and in Nevada, right? There was just this, we have to go to 100 at least today, right?
It's not a day of riding unless you hit 100. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, huh?
What it felt like sometimes, yeah. I took out my Acme book more than once looking for resolution. Trust me, I've ordered from the Acme catalog. I know all about that. Wile E. Coyote. So, all right. So now, what do we got? What do we got ahead, guys? Let's take a big broad overview right now. Well, we got a few minutes. We're going to go another 10 or so, as long as people are hanging out and talking. Where does this now? Okay, take a look across the faces and places and people that now are the ambassadors. Okay, now look at FTR, more street adapted. Okay, really more street adapted than we've seen from a major American manufacturer in a long time. And then look at this, a new introduction of a motorcycle that, again, the rumors and all of the speculation have this thing liquid cooled. They have it filling that void from Scout to the next evolution of a heavyweight bike for these new riders. Where is Indian's focus? Where are they going these days?
Well, I think, Fish, didn't you say it? You said it either last week or the week before that it seems like now Indian is kind of morphing itself into what we thought Victory could be. What Victory would have been if they had stuck around. They're becoming that Project 156, right? They're becoming that.
Yeah.
They're becoming those bikes that they're just fun. That technologically advanced American motorcycle.
Absolutely. They're innovating, they're not scared to change things up. I mean, I think this Chief next week is going to be a good start of that. Or I think it is a good start, because the FTR 156, it's its own thing, right? And the Scout was a lot like what was the Victory? Octane.
The Octane, yeah.
They were basically very similar. There's some differences or whatever. But this new Chief taking something that somebody already knows that has a fan base behind it, and they're saying they're going to reinvent it. I think that's exciting that they're not scared. Instead of just putting out the same product over and over, they didn't stop with the 111. They kept the 111. Oh, you can get cancer. Okay, you can get the big bore kit. No, we're going to just go big. You guys all want it. Let's just put it in. And they just keep innovating, and that's my favorite thing. They could have probably taken the FTR motor or the Scout motor and put that in a mid-size, which, by the way, could be the thing. We haven't even discussed that.
Yeah, there's two other power plants that fall into that category. There's a Scout motor and there's the FTR motor, both now that could be in those platforms.
Yeah, and we haven't discussed that at all. So either if they do that route or however, they just continue to push the envelope, and that's my favorite thing. They're my number one, hands down favorite thing that's happening with Indian Motorcycle Company right now.
Got to agree. But let me point at something maybe you guys haven't thought about. FTR, it's now, again, it has a very definitive street personality now, right? I mean, 17-inch front wheels, Sport Tech tires, Olin suspension, lower seat, different configuration, a different steering geometry, for crying out loud. So this is really a street stance. But again, they want to talk about how this is aimed at a much younger rider, okay? A guy that maybe is drawn to that neo-retro styling. But this has pushed it along further than neo-retro. I mean, this is not some, Triumph bobber. This is a sport bike, or Larry, you would remember, Mark, you would remember the sport standards. Now, Fish, I've talked his ears off about this, but let's go back and let's just look over the last several years. This ERX 1200 from Kawasaki, sport standard. It was made to do a little bit of everything well and then still be worthy of itself on the track day, right? That was a down-tuned Ninja motor. In the 1990s, mid to late 1990s, Suzuki had the Bandit 1200S. Bandit 1200S, a GSXR motor in a very capable frame, great tires, great brakes, all those things, could do everything well. And, again, I knew guys that toured on these. But let's go back even further to the 1980s, and I brought this in. In 1980s, there was a very popular Honda model known as the Nighthawk S, and it was very much the same. Inline 750, it was a sport-leaning frame with a 17-inch front wheel, dual front disc brakes. Early models had drums on the back, for crying out loud, and they were really not all that cool. But the bike would do just about anything you wanted to do fairly well. I think that maybe they've forgotten that we all rode those, because they're aiming this so young. Maybe they forgot that we rode bikes like that, and we would do it again if it suited us, right?
You all rode those.
What are you saying, Fish? We're old.
Well, that was fun.
Hey, Fish, I would take your FTR and I would almost make a dual sport out of that bike.
So that's actually what I'm trying to do. I ordered. I have. It's not a secret, I don't think, but I have spoked rims on there with 50/50 tires. I got the 2-inch high riser handlebars. I ordered a skid plate. I got heated grip, dude. We got a video coming out on this bike. I got heated grips coming. I ordered that new carbon seat for it. We got some good stuff, but that's my goal actually, is to make it a dual sport type. I just have to be a little careful. Hey, why don't we're running hot. We're talking about a lot of stuff. Let's just take a quick break so I can get a water. Come back. We got about 5 good questions, and let's go an extra little bit.
All right. You got some questions lined up?
Everybody good?
All right. You got some questions lined up? We will do that. I'll drop you guys out. I'll be right back. So, okay, you line up the questions. You get some water. We're not going anywhere, all right? And you guys stick around, too. Indian Rider Radio After Hours. I'm Curtis Sawyer. Ridingfish. Larry Marshall, Mark Tellerico hanging out with us tonight. And it is Open Phone Friday. So if there's something you'd like to share, something you want to get involved with, hit us up in the comments, and we will connect you with an opportunity to join here on the live stream show. It's a little bit after the hour right now, about 5 minutes after the hour. We're going to come back, and you're going to get more with Indian Rider Radio. Don't go.
I'm in Bison Thunder here in St. Paul. They want to sell you a bike and help you build a bike. Why wait till all the parts are on back order?
We have special things going on that we put in our dealership in Minnesota. We're signing people out and they're not even paying for their bike for up to 4 months.
Buy them now.
Yep. No Worries Promise, which is lifetime powertrain. First 2 years maintenance and wear items are covered on all new bikes, the heavyweight.
Bison Thunder here in St. Paul. Also have one in Rogers. All right. So that's where they are. Come to Bison Thunder, St. Paul. Home of No Worries Promise.
Sure. Peace.
Welcome back, everybody. Indian Rider Radio After Hours. I'm Curtis Sawyer, and we want to thank Thurber Jewelers at thurberjewelers.com for joining us and being part of the show. Eric and the guys are super there. Bison Thunder Motorcycle, you guys in St. Paul, Minnesota, taking good care of us as well, and taking care of my friend Ridingfish, who happens to join me here. And it's Open Phones Friday, guys. It just is. Throw it at us. You know, he knows a lot. I know a fair amount. And I've got a couple of other experts with me, Mark Tallarico and Larry Marshall tonight. So where are we going, Fish? What's next? What do you got? You got some questions?
We got a lot of stuff. Let's bring these other guys in so they can get some opinions too.
Let's bring in
We
Larry.
got Larry Marshall from the VTwin blog and Mark Tallarico from Hog Tag Caller, which is the only ones I'm using.
Well,
Other than one little selfie stick thing that I got. But other than that, all my mounts are his. Phone mounts, camera mounts, all the good stuff. So
yeah, and you become a genius with those. And if you're not familiar with our friend Larry Marshall, he is the editor, producer, and all-around, chief cook and bottle washer there at the VTwin blog. And if you haven't checked it out, it's been around since 2016. And Larry's is a very unique, kind of news magazine on American V-twins and all sorts of things associated with them. So do check it out at thevtwinblog.com. It's always in the program notes with the podcast, or you ought to be able to remember that, vtwinblog.com. It seems straight ahead. And Mark Tallarico, he's been an advocate and friend of the show from the jump and has helped us out with a million things, and we have used his gear. And, Brandon's going to drop back in. There he is. Okay. Brandon's back in the mix. We'll come back and visit him. So where do we go next? You guys?
All right. So first thing, Chris asks this, the FTR, is it better the new way or the old way? I'll tell you my opinion. One is I got a little slack. I don't know. I got a little grief because I said the FTR is one of the funnest bikes I've ever rode. And somebody said, well, you haven't rode the 2022. You don't know. Okay, whatever. Yeah, you got me.
All right.
You're right. And so I'll be the first to say I'm going to ride a 22 when they come out, and I can. And I'll tell somebody straight up if I was wrong. But assuming that the power plant's similar, it's going to only be better. So this is what I think. FTR, I think it's better the new way. Actually.
Okay.
Now, my FTR is adventure-ish. So I would have had to go with the rally that they have now. So you still have kind of both. The thing I don't like about the rally is that you can't turn off ABS. That's kind of a issue if you're actually trying to play off-road. You want to be able to lock up that tire. You guys can quick say, I like the fact that it's a street bike now. I mean, I think it's really a street bike. And they're all in. They were street tires, smaller rims. You have way more options. You guys agree, disagree? You think I'm crazy, or what do you think?
I agree, Fish, because I've got a 32-inch inseam. I don't know about you other guys. I know you're bigger than I am.
6'10".
The older FTR, when I rode it, I loved that bike. But from my viewpoint, for it fitting a lot of people, unless you're 5'9", 5'10", longer inseam, my little toes are about like this, even with what I had. But I love the bike. I love the power plant on it. I respect that bike because, not to get off subject, but I saw a guy that was probably 6'1", 245, 250 from a dead stoplight not respect that thing, and it, boom, threw him off the back end of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I love the old one, but I would love it, the newer one, with it set down a little bit further so I could feel more comfortable. I think that really will push it to the mass that, or an average size, that look at that bike and say, okay, now I can ride that one.
Yeah, the confidence of getting your balls of your feet on the floor really make a difference. And so the 1.4-inch drop is going to make a big difference. I agree with you on that. What do you think, Larry? New or old?
Dang it. I've been surfing the Indian website the last couple of days, and I'm starting to lean towards possibly putting a second bike in the stable, and it might be 2022. It might be the 2022. I try not to say that, but it might happen. And when I get my mind set on something like that, it's typically going to happen. Now, I will say this about the old FTR. The first time I rode it, I didn't really like it. I rode it at the dealership Bison Thunder that you had the ad for. I rode it there, and I thought, it's cool. Then I rode it in Sturgis, and I rode it through Spearfish Canyon in Sturgis, and I understood what the bike was.
Okay, all right.
You can't just ride it, around the city and understand that bike. You have to take it through some turns. And then
Which I think that even more solidifies the fact that the new style is going to be better for Spearfish Canyon. What do you think, Curtis? New or old, man?
I liked the idea of the older one, and I liked how it was supposed to be the root of all the other things, whether it was going to be the dirt leaning or the street leaning or whatever. I was disappointed because, again, working in the industry at the time, the FTR was pitched one way, it then was delayed, it came back looking a little differently, and customers didn't know quite how to get their head around that bike.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't like about it was it is too tall for me in its standard setting. I mean, I can get used to it. I could probably pull it off. I'm only 5'8", 5'9" at best. But what I really was disappointed with was the runnability issues, cold start problems, stumbling between gears, RPM changes, where it couldn't get itself dialed in. Those kinds of things were bothersome and they're a little bit scary. And, the bike had a lot of character, the old one, but I have to say I'm really leaning towards a new one.
Okay, so this takes me to this next one. Anonymous Biker. He asks, will Indian make a true adventure bike in response to the Harley Davidson Pan America? Okay, will they? I don't know. Could they? They could take that Rally Edition, go all in, like they went FTR all in street. They could take that Rally Edition, the FTR platform, and go all in easily. I don't know how they can trim weight. Those guys are smart. I'm not smart. But absolutely, if that Pan America goes bonkers crazy, I wouldn't be surprised if that Rally pulls full adventure.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even have to go all crazy. If it shows any kind of a blip in interest, I think that there needs to be a bike coming up behind it. And Ben Lindemann, who is the FDR product director that I had on the show, and even to a degree, Dan Peterson, who is a parts and accessories manager from Indian. If you listen carefully and read between the lines, this is a foundational motorcycle. This frame and power plant aren't destined to just where they're going now. There will be more for that motorcycle, whether it is a full off-road adventure bike based on the original FTR or whether it's something completely different. They have the opportunity now where you got the core. Do anything you want to do after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at how popular the bike has been in Europe. And in Europe, it's everything from, it's being converted to a cafe racer to a mountain climber.
Well, I sent you the guy I bought the skid plate from is out of Germany, and he made a straight up enduro. I'm trying to get him on the show.
Yeah.
We have some time issues. It's like 3 a.m. in Germany right now. So yeah, but dude, I'll ask him if I can post some on my Ridingfish Instagram or something. But his enduro FTR is pretty cool. He put the 21-inch front rim on there. I mean, it just shows you what that platform can do.
Yep.
So,
let me back up to another point that, again, we're older guys. The three are almost four of us, but the three of us, we all agree, though.
I don't know who this other older guy. I see two older guys and two younger guys.
That's right, baby. That is right. My new shirt, Ridingfish Rogue. Going rogue on VTwin blog. It's our new shirts.
But let me pose the question though. The three of us all said we liked the bike well enough once we rode it, and those things aside. But we are, I guess, maybe the exception because it's not aimed at our age bracket, and yet all three of us, Mark, Larry, me, I would ride one in a minute. That would be a great second bike for me. Maybe because I came up on some metric sport bikes and some sports standards over the years, but I think it's tuned properly. I think it's got the right equipment. I think it's a reliable dynamic power plant and a motorcycle that offers itself to a lot of riders that may not have given it a good square look the first time.
Yeah, I think that's its biggest problem, and not enough people took it out. They sat on it and then they moved on, and they didn't get to start it, or it died and they didn't restart it or something. Get down the road. They did the Challenger challenge. I wish they just did the FTR challenge. Just ride it, see what you like. See what you don't like.
And in dealerships, they were trying to promote that. Invite people in, have a test ride party, build it all up around FTR, do all those things. Even to the point where, and you guys have all seen them in dealerships, they had us purchase FTR displays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We had to have the display, and we had to have the merch, and we had to have the accessories and all those things because they really wanted to showcase this bike. And I said it the last week when we talked to Star, I watched literally hundreds of people come through the door, walk straight up to the thing, wanting to love it, wanting to fall head over heels in love with that bike, and then throw a leg over it and go, yeah, too tall, or it's a little awkward. Why am I reaching like this? What do you do to that? What do you say at that point? They're ready to look at a Scout.
Yeah. Well, now you lowered it half an inch and you went all in. I think it's great. I'm happy. And I think they are going to go adventure. I really want them to. P.S. I was texting you before last week's reveal, Curtis, and I said, if this FTR is full adventure, I'm going to be a little bit kind of bummed out because I just bought a bike to make this. If they come out with what I'm trying to make, I'm going to be upset. So anyway.
Would that not have been an honest reflection of what we've seen a lot of lately is they have been insanely responsive to customer feedback over the last couple of years. I mean, this isn't, hey, we'll get to that someday. These guys have literally, jumped on a lot of these issues right now. And one of them was, hey, we like what FTR is supposed to be. What can it really be?
Yeah. You guys, you think adventure? Should we move on? Because I got another question lined up right here.
Keep rolling.
Roll on. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Dave wants to know, are they going to make a Victory Magnum? I mean, a Chieftain Challenger motor. Okay, I'll be the first to admit I don't actually did. Larry, did you get to see my Victory that I had?
I saw a couple videos. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I saw it at the shop.
It was the most beautiful bike. The guy Mason that has it in Michigan sends me pictures and stuff. He's like, "Do you recognize this?" I'm like, "I recognize that very much."
What is that? Is it like sending the dog off to the farm?
Dude, it's like the current boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend picture of the girlfriend, but the things they could do with a Chieftain style, it would be incredible. It really would. I mean, the tech they got in the Challenger, if they just took the Challenger, and nothing against that fairing, the bike's amazing. I love it. I've, over 15,000 on it in one season, and I haven't rode it much since Sturgis. I would like to see them come out with that.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. So the answer is, Dave, yes, they got to do it, right? I mean, give the people the option. You want the Thunderstroke motor? Do you want this Power Plus 108? I mean, has to be an option.
Keep in mind, though, that this has to be kind of a metered thing, okay? Because if you run away from the heritage customer, if you jump away from him too quickly, you alienate him just a little bit. We have the things we like, the bikes we like to ride, the things that matter to us. There are things that we've come up with that are just embedded in our motorcycle experience. So the things we want to experience. At first blush, Larry, would your Chieftain have appealed to you quite the same way if it wasn't that Thunderstroke motor sitting there?
So no, personally, it wouldn't have. But I can tell you truthfully, I've talked to a lot of people who own Chieftains who said, I wish it was liquid cooled.
Really?
And so, in fact, a friend of mine I talked to today said that when if a liquid cooled Chieftain comes out, he's on it, and he's got a 16 Chieftain.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and he's not the only one. I've had a couple posts or comments on the blog, even people saying that I think there is a market for that. In fact, to go back to the last question a little bit, about the ADV bike, I think there's more of a market for the Chieftain for style in the Power Plus engine with the Power Plus engine than there is for an ADV bike.
You know, Curtis, when I came in, that Heritage customer, I wanted that older look. I got the 16 Roadmaster.
Sure.
Did you have like the brown bags and stuff like that?
No.
I've got the cream and the Springfield blue. But and I'm older fish, so riding that Challenger, if I get a second bike, that Challenger will be the one. I love the fixed fairing. I've always loved the fixed fairing, even of the old road glides. So I like that motor. I think it lends itself to even more power to push to it, especially with what Lloyd's is doing right now. And that would be my next go-to. Now, will I keep the one that I have, the Heritage type? Yeah, but that would be the other one.
Yeah, I would like to see that Heritage style given a little more edge. You know, for example, I'll break my neck if an older Chieftain Dark Horse goes by. You know, as funny as some of them did with the chrome trim and the chrome exhaust and some of this stuff, but I will literally break my neck when I see one of those roll by because they just appeal to me. They really resonate with me, and I don't think that there's a problem with where I think we're guys like Larry, Mark, myself, and you will do it too someday, Fish. We're going to confuse them because I've got a 19 Roadmaster Elite in my garage. Would I love to go out and go drag a knee on an FTR? Absolutely. Can I? Yeah, I'm capable of it. I can do that. I know how to ride a bike well enough to go do it. So why not? I guess we're a little different, right?
Yep.
I think that they could go Chieftain, Challenger motor, really sharp lines. It doesn't have to be an actual Chieftain. It could be the modernized, reinvented Heritage Chieftain. I mean, I think they're running a Chieftain and a Chieftain Classic side by side right now, aren't they? Are they still doing that? 2021? But you understand what I'm saying. Point is made. They were running both of those.
Right.
Well, you could run something very similar and offer the water cooled. You know, I really think so. Check this out. Okay, now he's just getting crazy. Could you imagine? The Scout with a 108.
I can't.
Yes.
You know, I can't.
Yes.
I can't do the weight ratio and not do power to weight ratio math in my head, but that would be absurd.
Wheelie mitigation on the Scout. I don't know.
That is the American sport bike right there.
Yeah.
Oh man! Except you can't lean the corners. They'd have to lift the pegs. They would have to do a couple things a little bit different, but they absolutely could. So
we're coming up in half hours, so let's go through a few more of these and knock them out.
Okay. Real quick, you're talking about, the big bore kits are starting to drop for the Scouts. I know Traveling Tall just showed a gentleman, can't remember where he's at. Knoxville.
Yeah.
And that sounded like a boss. That was a great sounding
that
Scout.
2-in-1. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was pretty awesome.
That is a great dealership, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, I was out there.
Good. Excellent. Hey, by the way, Scout big bore kits, Revolution Performance, I'm going to try to get those guys back on the show because that big bore kit is so simple, so easy, and it comes back just bolted together and ride the damn bike. It's a really cool setup. And Rodney and his group there have been working their behinds off throughout the winter because they had stuff developing for FDR. They had Scout in development. I think you're going to see a lot of crazy stuff with the aftermarket, especially with some of these doors getting kicked open. Do you think Indian is phasing out the Chief? Yes, they kept and have hyped the vintage, but why end the Chief Classic? I mean, it's classic, right? Yeah, Brian, but classic sells to a very narrow niche.
So I think they have the vintage for that.
Right.
And I don't think they phase out the Chief, Brian. We'll see. Tuesday, we don't know. I have not privy to any information, but this overall 100-year hype of the Chief and then not have it in the lineup with a drop coming in like 4 days, dude, the Chief's coming, Brian. It ain't gone. It isn't gone. It's going to be reimagined, either variable valve timing or 108 or FTR motor or something. But it's a 116. A lot of people are asking about 116s. My guess, my money is going 108. That's my money.
I would have to lean that way as well. What else we got? Because there's questions, concerns, comments. Because I want to bring Brandon back before we disappear too. I can see there.
If you want, drop me out, bring Brandon back, and then I'll tell you when I need to be back in. Big Gabe says this. I really love the victory. We all know I'm very, very passionate about that.
All right. Well, okay. I'll drop you out. I'll come back over here and I'll say, "Hey, Brandon, how the heck are you?"
Hey, pretty good, guys. What's up?
Now he's back.
Good to be back.
So we've been following along here, and you've seen the FTR now in its more raw form, if you will. Climbing mountains and hills. What do you think about taking that platform and making an American statement, if you will? Okay, this is an American-made, I want to say, right down the middle sport bike now, for lack of a better word. What do you think?
No, I think that's a great idea to go with that FTR platform. Go with a sport bike like the Buell, a design like that. Yep, I'd buy it.
but Harley Davidson and Larry, you followed these for a long time too. The XR series, that bike, for lack of a better word, it had a really cool groove. It had its own audience, and it appealed to guys that liked a little bit of edgy and performance wise, but it never quite filled that niche. Till you got to the professional racing category of it, the Tyler O'Hara's of the world, but it never really quite filled that niche. It was a little underdone in some respects.
Yeah, that's a niche that here in America, it's a niche. It's not going to be a giant seller. Yeah. That American sport bike, it's not going to be. I mean, Harley's VR 1000 that they did in 2000.
Yeah.
And I only bring that up because my show sponsor has one of those for sale, and I just saw that on their website.
Oh, God. We content creators, we just shameless plugging everywhere, don't we? Just awesome. I love it. But you're right. Harley Davidson had a lot of racing success that the average customer never heard about or cared about. Okay. Yep. But Indian has been able to take their racing success and now fold that in to their marketing, their advertising, their positioning of the brand. And it really has turned on a younger audience. It really has brought those guys to the fold. I mean, Mark, Larry, we go someplace, we can see plenty of us guys. We can see plenty of us that are a little gray around the chin and, got to crawl off the bike instead of climb off. But we are now starting to see younger guys. And you're seeing it too in your sport, Brandon. Young guys getting re-energized and getting back involved.
Yeah. No, it's definitely the older guys, they're phasing out. It's a market that's gone. We need that newer market and the companies, especially the American companies, have to compete. If they want that share of that sport market, they need to come up with something that's competitive to the Japanese stuff. In price and performance, if they want part of that sport market.
Yep.
The American bike can make dominant bikes. They can dominate that market, but they price them right out of the market.
Yes.
Yeah. I completely agree. And when Larry, this struck me as funny, and you listened to the show. So, all right. So Ben Lindemann he's the FTR product director. He talked about the bike in terms of, it being this competing in this neo retro class. All right. I don't see it. I mean, maybe the first FTR, when people were doing a lot of customizing and changing it up and whatever, maybe that was more the neo retro style. But this bike doesn't compare to a Triumph Bonneville. It doesn't compare to a Royal Enfield. It's not that motorcycle.
No, it's not even. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say the FTR's pretty much made its own market. It's the only one in the market. It's its own market. There's nothing else. There's nothing else out there like it.
Yeah.
The only thing I would compare it to, because I'm starting to kind of fiddle around with looking, is like a Yamaha MT-09 or MT-10, or like stuff that BMW's putting out, or this new CBRs, and they could the naked street bikes that the Japanese manufacturers are putting out. That's the only thing it kind of comes close to. But yeah, I don't think the FTR competes with the Bonnevilles. I think the Bobber more competes with the Bonnevilles.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's the case. And I also think that there has been a gap. Well, again, you mentioned it. Buell tried to fill it at one time. The XR was supposed to fill it at one time. Even the V-Rod was enlisted to try to fill this gap at one time. And what we're really talking about is a sports standard motorcycle that can be an everyday rider. You know, the MT-09 is a marvelous motorcycle, but you want to talk about inseam challenges? The thing's tall as all get out. You know, it is. It's got a 32+ inch seat height. That's too tall for most guys. And if it doesn't have that good ergo seating, that, you know, the bike, some people say it's not as comfortable as it looks. You know, but then you talk about the other bikes that it might be compared to. The Husqvarna Spit Villain. Come on. You know, it's a single-cylinder liquid-cooled bike that's a 700cc bike. Then other comparisons were to things like the CB1000R from Honda. Now, we could be looking at a valid comparison there. Okay? Okay, Dad with a bike. I've been saying that for a while. 14K gets you an MT10. So far, FDR needs a big bore kit to get up to the power where the MT10 is. Now, that would be epic. Well, Dad, I fully and completely agree, but you got to remember that that's not usable power for most guys. You know?
It's track power.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, think about
I will say this too. I as I look at the MT10 and MT09, there's something, and I don't want to be that guy, but there's something that's missing with those. And you know, when you look at a Harley or an Indian, right? There's a certain feel, a certain soul that those bikes have.
Right.
They don't feel like, you know, they're pumping 10,000 of them off a manufacturing plant every 2 days.
Yeah.
You feel like you get the handcrafted painting, you get those things. That's where I think that the FTRs of the world, they are different than the MT-09s. If I just want a straight machine, MT-09, MT-10. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but look at today's buyer, today's young buyer, the people who were just imaged in front of us with these ambassadors. Okay, now you got folks like Porsche Taylor. Yeah, she ain't backing up to something else. She's gonna ride that Challenger till the wheels come off. Okay, but a lot of these were not those people. All right, those guys, when they go to spend their money on a motorcycle, they can't be like me. They can't have 3 of the damn things sitting out there. They just can't. It's not possible. I can't afford it. The damn thing. They can't have one, and they want that one to do more than a traditional cruiser is able to give them. Okay, the Scout was the first incarnation of a motorcycle that said, "Hey, guess what? Lightweight, nimble. Yeah, we might be a little shy on the lean angle, but you know what? We're going to give you 100 horsepower and go have fun." Okay. FDR is saying, all right, you wanted an urban commuter motorcycle that you could still go out and have a ton of fun on Saturday and maybe embarrass a couple of your friends. Perfect bike to do that. And now you look at again, and I go back to this, you know, Mark, you making your living with accessories. Larry, you and I hear about it constantly. If your inbox isn't full of accessories crap like mine is, then I think that something's horribly wrong. Brandon, you know, just from being around now a dealership, that everything has to do with accessorizing.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
So Indian Motorcycle thinks about that first. It said, okay, we're going to build this thing. They created an incredibly versatile bike. That FTRS loaded with all those travel amenities that they have for it. Crazy cool. From Chris Norris, the FDR is faster than the 123 horsepower it claims. Just ride one. Yeah, I would give you that too. I was going to share this little anecdote with you guys. When I had Norm Robinson on my show, now Norm is a longtime old school flat tracker back, you know, started in the early 60s. Brandon's heard his name kicked around the Northeast. You know this guy. He ran on speedway tracks. He was a flat tracker. And he spent a fair amount of time racing on ice, which is what you do in Western New York in the winter. Probably what you guys in Minnesota do, and probably what you guys in, you know, Pennsylvania do, and all those other places in Ohio do. But Norm had a chance to ride the FTR. And his first comment was the same one I had when I wrote it. it made me feel like I was 25 again. The bike pulled with all kinds of power, top to bottom. You were talking about an old school flat track and speedway racer who came away with the shit-eating grin from riding the FTR. I think that's pretty impressive. The guy had made a point of calling and telling me about it, so pretty cool. All right, RC, what else did you add? Kind of want the 22 FTR, rip up some twisties. I do like some custom scouts. Well, I got to go with that. Guys, we are going to get ready to wrap it up very shortly. Brandon, I'm going to say thank you again for coming on the show and being a part of tonight. Nitro and Mud, it's a cool podcast all about AMA Pro Hill Climb, a lot of the history of it and the current events that go along with it. And Brandon is helping get young people involved in hill climb racing. And if you want to know more, how do they do it, Brandon? How do they find you?
And find us. We're on Facebook, Nitro Mud. Facebook.com, Nitro Mud, whatever all that stuff is, and Instagram. I just actually posted up a couple of old videos on Instagram while I was on my break. So get on over and check some of those out. And follow the pages and stay tuned for the auction site to get some hill climb memorabilia. That's coming
awesome.
up to help the youth riders out.
Yep. So if you don't know how Brandon and I ran into each other, I saw his podcast and he reached out to me, I think, first. But anyway, long story short is when I found out that one Indian had a professional hill climber coming in with the FTR and that there was actually somebody doing a podcast about it, I was not going to hesitate to give the guy a call back. I'll guarantee you that. Oh, God. Brandon.
It's worked out good. Thanks for having me on the show tonight, Curtis.
It's been a pleasure, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Take good care. Say hi to the family.
All right, I will. See you guys. Thank you a lot, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Brandon Kroeger, good cat. Oh, dude, you guys ever want to learn? If you want to win bar bets, just call Brandon. Get some little tidbit. If you want to go win bar bets, get a tidbit from Brandon. Go out there and sit back in Minneapolis and just clean up. I mean, it's going to be easy. Don't worry. Oh, God, that's so much fun. Fish, what did you learn while you're out there in the ether?
I learned that you guys can hold the show without me just fine. I was hoping it was going to fall apart.
Oh, God.
Hey, so I think we're wrapping up. But before we wrap up, what's the plan on Daytona? Anybody got plans? Larry, you going?
Mark? I can't make it this year.
Okay.
I can't make it either, but I'd love to go. I think if they would have given a little bit more leeway in announcing it, you probably would have had a lot more people show up too.
Yeah, I talked about that a little bit on the show. They were so, I want to say, nobody was terrified by the idea. It was a 6-1 vote, so they weren't that bent out of shape. But, the city of Daytona has had a hard time with the rally over the years. There's been good, there's been bad, there's been struggles that they've had. And last year when Bike Week started and then it was abruptly stopped, it bugged some people. It scared some folks, I think. Well, I'll do it this way. Mark, thank you very much for coming on the show, and it's been a pleasure having you. Mark Tellerico, if you don't know Mark, hogtagcollar.com, and I don't know why you wouldn't know those guys because they've been hanging around with us since the jump. Be good. Say hi to the guys in Memphis, and tell everybody we said hello, Mark.
Y'all have a good weekend.
All right. Mark Tellerico, thanks for joining the show. All right, guys, we got to bear down here. What is our final assessment? What are we really thinking this thing is? Power Plus 108, probably aluminum framed, probably liquid cooled, obviously liquid cooled. But is it more Chieftain leaning, or is it maybe more Victory Judge leaning?
I'm thinking Victory Judge leaning.
Okay.
Victory type. I don't want to say full on jackpot just because it's kind of the big front.
Yeah.
But yeah, somewhere in between a judge and a jackpot. I think it's going straight Victory DNA, man.
My favorite victory of all time was the Victory Highball.
Oh, good choice.
And that it kind of bit off the Dyna a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a market that doesn't seem to be that well served by anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the Chief could look like a new highballish Dyna that look.
But calling it a Chief would be real hard, I think. You think that would be hard?
I don't think so. I mean, we got look at the Scout and the Scout Bobber.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are playing off the original theme, but a far cry from what those bikes were.
I mean, I guess you wouldn't want to keep it too original to the Chief because you still have the vintage. So if you wanted that look, but so yeah, maybe a full man. That's actually a really smart one. The highball type. I think that would be pretty smart, Larry. I think I like what you're doing there. I hadn't even put any thought into that actually at all.
But think about it. If Harley Davidson isn't making the Dyna that everybody was in love with for so long, okay, for just out of its pure simplicity, imagine if you take the modern tech that Indian is known for and you put together a motorcycle like that, a ton of power, lean, nimble, but very much a street cruiser. Boy, I think that's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. And very customizable, blank canvas.
Yeah, blank canvas. That's huge right now.
Selling accessories.
I will say that if they come out with something completely, there's a lot of interchangeable stuff. If it's completely its own, I really hope they come out hot and heavy with accessories.
Yeah.
They did a pretty good job with the FTR drop, and they came out right away with quite a bit of stuff.
Right.
So I hope they do that.
Well, again, Larry, you talk to these guys, and they incorporate the concept of accessorization from the original development of the bikes. That is so ingrained in what Indian and Polaris intend to do with these that it is part of the original designs in these things. That's enormous. That's not waiting for the aftermarket to come do it. That is not waiting for us to figure out, hey, maybe I would like this. No, it's, hey, guess what? You want it? We got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as Dave said in the comments, I don't know how you do this, but the price has to come down on the accessories, so they have to be affordable without losing the quality.
Right.
Because I mean, that's to argue my own point now a little bit. The accessories are expensive, but how many of us have talked about, hey, I got this Indian accessory and it broke.
It doesn't happen.
Right. So you pay for the quality.
I had a guy ask me, actually, I think it was Ben from Canada. I might be wrong about that, but he called me, he said, what kind of load are you putting on your luggage rack? I'm like, I never even thought there would be one. Good point. I should probably look into that because I put some heavy stuff on there. Yeah. But you saw the size of my bag, Curtis, and that was no joke. And it went around the country for, I think we did, I can't remember, 8,000 or something miles. But yeah, the quality is good. But you know where they can sell it as a package. Stop. Please stop selling trunks as you get the trunk and then you buy the pads and then you buy the freaking mounting. You know it's going to come together. Just whip it together. And so nobody goes, oh, I need these pads or these. No, dude, you know what they're going to get. Just put it together. I think that would be the best, easiest, quickest thing. Shave a couple bucks off. I don't know. Because then you have to, then the dealers, they want, it's an hour for this and it's 30 minutes for that and it's an hour for this. Like, dude, it doesn't take that long.
Right.
So anyway, my gripe, that would be my way of fixing the accessory problem.
I would explain to you the whole flagging all the time. And because the 2.5 hour job that's in the book for Indian that says it's 2.5 hours takes 4. And the ones that they give you 30 minutes for that take 10, you got to make it up with those. That's how you do that. That's how you do it in the service department.
Listen, make a trunk as a package and send it to me and just let me snap it on myself. The dealers won't love it, but they'll get the money from the trunk.
Do you know how many times you'd have a new service writer or parts writer? It didn't matter, okay? And looking at ordering and talking about Indian accessories, I cannot tell you how many times we sold backrests, luggage racks, you name it, only to have the guy forget the little nylon bushings, the sleeves that it fits on. Okay. What a pain in the ass. Okay. You've got a customer that has waited for this stuff. You put together all the bits and pieces that he wants, and the backrest is 3 separate pieces. And now you forget that one critical thing and the customer is still sitting there waiting. It's so frustrating. Yeah. Package this stuff together as best you can and let it be easy. It's not.
Even the windshields, you got the shield and the mount. Come on. It's like,
right?
And the bolts.
And the
right.
Yeah. So anyway, I think
Speaking of which, who has those damn bolts in their fairing? God. See?
Little trick: put a towel at
in-
the bottom of the windshield. Yep.
Okay.
And
that's
get
really
one of those extendable magnets.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah.
this really smart guy gave me a little magnet. That'd
Yeah.
be you, Curtis.
Well, guess who learned that lesson? I take my magnet out. I got my towel ready. I walk over there with my tool, and I start undoing the damn thing with the towel hanging over the handlebar, the magnet sitting on the bench behind me, and damned if the thing didn't go down in the right there.
My daughter, the only time she's ever heard me swear was when I was taking the windshield off my 2015 to get it ready to put on my 2019. I watch all the videos. I read all the stuff. I'm like, okay, don't drop the bolts, right? I'm standing out there with her, and the third bolt in, clunk. She goes, "You dropped the bolt, didn't you, Daddy?" Like, she's like 5, and she knew better than I did. But yeah, it happens, man.
I'm calling you out right now, Dad.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. What a great evening. I've enjoyed this a ton. You should have a magnetized screwdriver. Gabe, stop being logical. Where the hell did you find him?
Oh, dude, he's my fix-all, man.
Yeah, get yourself a magnetic screwdriver. What's your problem? For the
Well, yeah.
Jesus.
See, all that-
tool set.
everybody's commenting. It all sounds great. Trust me, I thought about this, right?
Amen.
And then you're like, I'm taking it off. I'm gonna do it fast. I gotta. Not you. Yeah.
Bro, you use tape right here. There you go. You
Tape
tape it down the paint. Yeah, until it falls off the tape when you're trying to. I don't know. It's crazy.
All right.
This was a great 1 hour show. 1 hour of our time. This was a great show, guys.
This would have been a great 1 hour show. Look what we've done. You know,
You get these, these damn long-winded guys on here, man. That's the problem. Man.
You paid for the 1 hour show. We gave you an hour 45.
boom, check it out. Oh, it's been a lot of fun. Larry, thank you so much. He shares some great insights again this week on Indian Rider Radio. And if you haven't checked out the VTwin blog element there in the show, please do. Larry is about as candid as Larry's going to get. So just enjoy that segment. It's going to be a lot of fun. Larry, thank you so much. What's going on at the blog? Anything new and fresh that we need to know about?
There's a couple stories I got brewing in the old brain here. And actually a couple segments I got brewing. So I think I'm finding my niche, finding my wing. So I might get a little more raw than I have been. I might even talk more about underwear. Who knows?
Hey.
Yeah. Second or third time he's on the show, he's talking about what he's doing with his underpants.
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell?
I'm a little spoiler alert. Everybody in the Midwest, keep your guys' eyes open on Instagrams, YouTubes, and vtwinblog.com. There might be some big collaboration between Ridingfish and the VTwin blog this year. We're working on some stuff that's going to be really fun.
Is this top secret stuff? Is this classified material?
Oh, I don't think we can really announce anything right now, but we're working on some real. The one thing that we really talked about is going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun, and
cool.
And we want to invite a lot of people to it, but we just need to hammer out our stuff first.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, guys, the Midwest, seriously, just look out for us.
We're gonna have a good time.
Absolutely.
I don't even feel safe now. No, in Minneapolis, knowing you two are running around there. It's not good.
It's the wannabe ambassador club.
You missed it by that much.
Killing me, Smalls. Killing me. Oh gosh. Well, Larry, thank you so much again for dropping in and spending some time with us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Been a ton of fun. We're going to do this again. Obviously, it is Indian Rider Radio After Hours. Larry and the VTwin blog drops by the show every week. Check him out this week, and check him out online at thevtwinblog.com. Larry, have a great night.
Thank you. Take it easy.
All right. Say hi to that little girl of yours, too. All right, Fish, it's time for us to put this thing to bed. You want to get one more commercial break in, get that over with, and come on back and wrap up?
Yeah, I want to tell you what I'm doing with this Florida stuff quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get me hooked up with that. All right, we'll be right back.
Sounds
we're back. Thurber Jewelers, thurberjewelers.com. Check them out for Valentine's Day. Tell them we sent you and say hi to Eric and the crew there. Let's bring back Ridingfish as we get an update on what you're doing with Daytona Bike Week.
Well, if they haven't heard your show, I'll spoiler alert, but they need to go listen to your newest episode.
Okay.
Dropped today, right?
Yes, it did. Episode 5, season 2. Right now, it's available just about every place.
With my buddy Ryan from RVS Performance.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, Ryan Scheller comes on the show from RVS Performance. He was the guy that helped you out with your Challenger. Ryan is one of a handful of master tuners around the country. He's helped out guys like Brian Remington. He helped you out. He is really elbow deep in the Challenger and the FTR. So if you have, there's a lot to learn when you listen to Ryan in the interview on the show. So check that out. Yeah.
It was really cool. So if you guys want to know a little bit about in depth of what it takes to tune and what these ECUs are really like, listen to this week's show. All right, man.
Okay.
Not Sturges. Sturges. I'm going.
Okay. Okay.
Sturges, hopefully. Daytona, I've never been.
Okay.
And so I'm going to make a quick appearance this year. I'm going to fly in. And by fly, I don't mean it's not a day of riding till you hit 100. I mean, literally, I'm going to fly in.
Okay.
And I'm going to spend the last weekend there with the family.
Okay.
Which will be awesome. I'm still hoping to see a bunch of people. I want to go to Daytona Indian, hopefully run into Tim and Lloyd down there and check it out. And then from there, I'll be actually just driving around the state. I'm hoping to see some snakes down in the Everglades and all the fun stuff down there.
Well, I think you're going to have a lot of fun just exploring Florida at this time of year. It's great to get away from the cold and the gray and all that and get down there and soak up a little sunshine. Myself working on Daytona as well. I do have one kind of thing looming in the background that may make it impossible. And that would be the only thing. I got my house up for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And if that lands, stuff happens, I'm going to be busy. So, but that being said, I am still planning as if nothing's going to get in the way, so you and I can go cruise Daytona and see what it's all about. Because it's been a long, long, long time since I've been to Bike Week.
Can't you hire movers or something? Do you really have to be there to supervise? It's all digital signing these days anyway.
I'm sure it goes on the right truck, for crying out loud. I don't know.
We got a last minute drop in.
Yes, we do.
We have to bring her on. Have to.
Don't
Yes, we do. Oh, yes.
Hi, Will. How are you?
I was like, I just finished my live stream. I was just like, I don't know if this is still accurate, but I'm gonna tune in. And I was like, oh shoot, you guys are still going. So
yeah, how sad is that, right? We just keep doing this and this and this. Yeah.
I just ended my conversation. I did a live stream with Star Bobber just now. So
congratulations. Yeah, mom's a ride or something.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
So we've had this plan for probably 2 months at least. And so coordination wise, I was like, this couldn't have came at a better time to have you on, is what I told her. Cause they found out she was one of the ambassadors yesterday. So she doesn't have too much detail to share yet, but at least coordination wise.
We softened her up for you.
Look at you landing the A-lister.
I know.
See,
I didn't even
we got her before she was anything. Now she's an A-lister. She's going on your show.
I guess she earned it.
Yeah. Well, we talked to Whit long before most people even knew anything. So I think we still get a gold star for that.
Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah. Yeah, but we softened Star up. We beat her up pretty good one night here.
Oh, that's awesome.
She seemed a little, handicapped, but it was okay.
Over us.
Yep.
It might have been the stroke because we could have induced stroke. We don't know. Probably it was. I don't know. So you got a lot of things going on. You got your new live stream and your channel is blowing up and things are cooking. Right. You got a 48 state and 10-day trip that you're trying to put together.
I am in the beginning stages of that all. I've got the actual route planned out, but I need a bike. Fred had lended me his or said that he was going to. So I'm holding that to him. If he's allowing me to put 8,000 miles on a bike, we'll find out. But I need to figure out a more touring style compared to my little sporty. Either that or I need to go on an auxiliary tank, and I'm not sure if I want to go that route.
You look a little silly with that 5-gallon jug painted, strapped on there with a hose. It's going to look weird.
I know people that have problems with it too and concerns. And for me, trying to do something like that, I'd want it to be a natural touring style bike. So
I double checked those dates that you sent me. You're good.
yes. Okay, so you're like my ultimate, like if everything all else fails, I'm headed up to Minnesota and grabbing a bike.
Fair enough. I
One reservation and it's Minnesota. Jesus.
if are you not going to start in the North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota border?
So
Normally that's where most people start because you hit all three of those states right away.
I'm gonna start at like the border of Wisconsin to Chicago, and I'm going out east first just so I can get all of that done right away. So I'll end up in like Vermont area, almost doing it 1,000 miles. That's kind of my first day.
Well, if you come over here, you're only 4 hours from that jot where you could get North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and then go east. It's just an idea on 94.
True.
So you might want to think about that. But the dates are good. If everything goes as I have planned for the summer, I actually won't be here when you return the bike, but that's all right.
Well, then I'll just add another 3 on it.
Yeah, I'll literally be gone. If everything goes as planned, I'll be gone for the month. So you have till August 1st to get it back to me.
I loved it though. And plus that if like I'm gravitated towards that white dark horse bike. And so for me, it's like, yep, I'll be good with that one.
Yeah, just tag me in your videos. I deserve some Instagram love.
You absolutely do. And then you'll be brand new tires for my sake, something. Oil will definitely happen. Yes.
Definitely we're good. And I was genuine when I said that you could borrow my bike. I don't care. We'll make sure insurance is covered. And I don't care. Other than that, shit. Matter of fact, wouldn't it be awesome if I rode the first couple days on your Sportster?
Do the full I think it's like 950 miles is what I've got planned out for that first day. So just do that full almost iron butt on it and come back.
Okay.
No, you go 950 miles, you put the other 50 on and you don't complain. You just go get the grant.
That's true.
Go to Walmart a couple of times, dude. I don't care. Run around the parking lot. Get the other 50. Don't short yourself.
Head up all the way up through Michigan and come back. Yeah. My Michigan stop is Sturgis, Michigan, because it's like right on the border of it all. So that's where I'm going to be ending up, at least in that area. So
yeah. If Canada opens, have you played any thought into running into Alaska? You can do 49 in 10 days. It's possible.
I know. And plus there might be a chance where I can hit that last state within this next couple of months right now too. So to say that I could ride all 50 states within a full year, which might be a possibility. I might have to make knowledge.
I see placards and trophies in your future.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But I might have to plan just a route to see if I can make it work and come back. But I know there's people that have to start out there, correct? And then
most of the people that can pull off a 49 and 10 actually start in Alaska and then
come down.
Dan Larson did not though. He's trying to find that article. He wrote the greatest reading article ever. If I can get it, I'll get it to you. But Dan Larson, he is an iron butt, amazing kind of writer. Yeah. Just realistically, friend him on Facebook and shoot him a message because he's full of knowledge and the guy is good.
Yeah, so, I'll get anything from that side.
There's a bunch of them. Lee Keller is Dan Larson is Brian Edens. I mean, he just rolls and rolls and rolls forever.
He did 3 iron butts last year.
Oh my god!
And in 6 weeks or something. It was the craziest thing.
I wish I had the time to do that.
Yeah, those guys can help you out a lot, and they'll tell you a little bit. How to pack and whatnot, but until you have to be out there with the motorcycle for that long, and you get tired and things are not, until you get to that place, you haven't packed right until everything is. Until you don't lose your mind when that's happening, where you don't decide that I have to have something in the saddlebag I want, and all this shit can go on the driveway right here.
Pretty much.
Happen, right? I mean, that's how frustrated you get.
Well, Larry gave some great advice. He says take old underwear and every day when you change your underwear, throw out your other stuff.
Throw out your underpants.
So that way, when you
New underpants.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, the stuff you find in VTwin blog and his segments in Indian Rider Radio.
Never did say where he gets rid of them, but I'm suspecting that maybe that's one of those things you keep in the pocket. You launch it at about 80, and just let it find traffic.
The person that's kind of ticking you off, that's me and that person.
Right, 2 lanes back, you got Fruit of the Looms right there on your windshield. Bam. I learned this from Larry Marshall.
Oh,
I can see Larry cracking up over here.
Yes.
Back, I'm putting it back.
Let me in. I think he's saying let me in. Okay, you're in.
See, he's all worked up.
That is note about the caffeine for a month. So I don't actually drink caffeine. They're like, I've never had a sip of coffee before or anything like that. I've done some like natural sparkling water, but yeah, it's just pure water for my sake. Coffee.
Larry, you're muted, boss, before you talk.
Did I turn him? No.
He's muted himself.
There you go.
Yeah, wait a minute. First of all, what the hell? Okay.
What?
Okay,
your dirty skivvies on my show and not.
here's the true story with the underwear, right?
Solid advice, boss. That's all I'm saying.
We have a campfire, so you just throw them in the fire. You don't even. It just says blue flames and everything. It's all good. But
it's like the Christmas tree lights. You put them in there, and it's all sorts of colors.
There's decorative logs we use for that. You don't need to use old underpants. I'm telling you, you don't have to.
But a true story though. One of the things I've always done, and it's really helped out, is and with this, it doesn't apply to you, but it applies to anybody else who's riding any kind of long distance. Stop drinking caffeine. A couple, if you can, a month before you go, and then use it while you're if you're doing an iron butt or you're doing a longer distance ride. It's going to keep you awake, because your body's going to get used to having that caffeine, and it just won't work while you're on the road.
Super small meals too.
Yes,
lots of them, super small, but plenty of them. Just keep it coming. Don't overdose, because you're gonna burn. I read someplace recently that even sitting on a standard, new style motorcycle, you can burn up to 600 calories an hour riding. So yeah, I mean, it's no wonder that we go to the pancake breakfast 2 hours away, gorge ourselves, drink coffee for a half a day, and then ride home.
Mm-hmm.
But lighter meals, lots of them. Plenty of hydration, you'll be good. You'll kill it.
Be fine.
Yeah.
I would say though, don't wait like 9 hours like you did last time. You remember? I say 9 hours. I'm exaggerating, but you left like midday almost.
Like 8 a.m. pretty much.
That's midday. You should have been gone at first light.
Yeah, my plan is just like a half an hour before sunrise, pretty much. So I am up with the sun. I could do it earlier, but I don't want to get to that point of the evening that makes me feel lethargic, and I still have to ride all of that mileage too.
We'll have none of it. All right, good. Well, now we've completely exceeded our game plan. We bring the girl in, and look what we do. Guys. All right. I'm going to say goodnight again to Larry Marshall from the VTwin blog. Check him out online, vtwinblog.com. Larry, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We love you. And Whit, you've got a big year planned. We're going to talk again. I'm going to try to get you on the podcast. I know that you were super busy, but I want to talk to you more about, you're doing this thing with the moms and the live streams now. And I want to talk a little bit more about, what's going on with women in riding, because as we saw, with Indian's ambassador program, are new faces of motorcycling, and these guys are now front and center, and a lot of them are ladies that are like yourself, that are trailblazers. So
that was the first thing I reached out to Star. I was like, all right, who are the other females that are part of this? And so we've been like sending back and forth, like I think I at least know 3 other ones besides Star that are on. So
yeah, good. So the Jervy, Porsche, Star, there was somebody else I forgot.
I can't remember. If I see their Instagram account, I'm gonna know. But
all right, Fish, and we're gonna call it here, bud.
Nah, we're good. I'm good. It was a great show. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, share, thumbs up, all the good stuff. And with you and I'm sure we'll see each other. I think I said, do you and your husband, I owe you guys the first round. So that still stands.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And when you do hear from your husband, thank him for serving us. Okay.
Well, he's afternoon right now, so I could send him over and he'd be able to.
Why isn't he on? What is happening?
He's America.
Saturday, so he's not really working. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh my God. He's dead.
America. He is defending America. Leave him alone.
Well, we should be subscribed to Ridingfish.
Yes, most likely.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Time to call it a night. Whitmez, check her out on Instagram. Check her out all over the place. And she's going to be probably hitting your neighborhood this summer, traveling a lot. We're going to see you soon, okay?
You got it. Thank you, guys.
Oh, I clicked her off. Wow, that was so horrible. Sorry, that was rude. That was rude of me.
Hey, you're the boss.
Oh, let me try.
I was about
Curtis, you're the boss.
leave the studio.
Push that button yet. Let me do this again properly. Widmezza, follow her on Instagram, and then thank you for coming on the show. We're going to connect with you again later. Widmezza, check her out, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
See, now I can click the button.
Yeah, much better. Dude, you're the boss, though. You can do whatever you want.
Well, yeah. Well, no.
Okay. So we're going to call this a night. This is a great show, but seriously, Sturgis. Dude, I just love Sturgis so much. Daytona, I hope to see people there. I'm going to be there the last couple of days with the wife and daughter, and I hope to see people. And Curtis, hopefully you're there and we can make it all work.
Yep. I'm going to try to work all the kinks out of it and have everything set up. So unless it's somebody standing here with paperwork I have to sign over my house, I'm going to head out over there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Fish, have a great week. We've got a lot to talk about again. Tuesday will be the big reveal. I'm told it's going to happen around, I want to say roughly 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday is when the new bike is supposed to drop. So we'll probably do something live. I'll give you a shout or a call wherever you are on the road, and we'll connect, okay?
Sounds good. And if anything, we're live next Friday, right?
Indeed, we are, because we're coming out on Tuesday. We are going to lean very heavily on getting this put together. I have a senior product manager who's coming on the show from Indian, who is going to be
our show or your show?
He's going to be on the podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
And
we're trying to get a couple dealer owners on the show for next week. At least one, hopefully two, or something like that. So that could be fun to get their perspective of what they think a new model would be like. And so
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That's it then, guys. Let's call this a night.
All right, man. Well, Fish, take good care. Check him out. Ridingfish. Find him on YouTube. Subscribe. Get notifications. In fact, I think are you still doing the smoke signal thing?
Yeah, I answer to those, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Ridingfish on YouTube. Check him out, guys. Good night, my friend. I'm going to catch up with you again. It has been a lot of fun. Great show, ton of fun. And all of you, we really appreciate you. So please check us out on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, IndianRiderRadio.com, all of those places. The new episode is out at season 2, episode 5. Do check it out and enjoy the show. And in the meantime, as we always tell you, of course, be safe, be legendary, and we will see you on the road. Don't forget, live update Tuesday. When the new bike is released, we're going live with all the details. Have a good night, everybody. Great to see you. Come back and see us next Friday.